Okay, who here hasn't been to space? Why? You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
Kenny said, MCU is the 7th highest grossing entertainment franchise of all time. It'll be a while before they're in trouble. You know, again, mileage may vary because people aren't going to view the movies like that anymore. Like, let me put it into perspective. I don't know what your towns look like. There's not been an MCU film where that we've gone to see as a group where I've been able to wait to get tickets. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I got our Quantumania tickets last week. How long have I had y'all's money?
Shit. You paid for mine. I just got you a card.
So I wouldn't know.
I thought we had them when they dropped. So.
And when did they drop? What was
Monday? That Monday or Tuesday?
Was that February 1st? Was that
second, first,
14 days ago?
It might have been the 3rd. I think it was the 3rd.
Okay, the 3rd. Typically, when I buy our tickets to go
soon at 10:30 a.m.
I have to get them because it's normally sold out. I got our tickets last week. I checked seats today. Same seats are available.
And it's been like this with the last
exactly
couple of movies too, not just this one.
So to say,
like, what did we go see last, and we bought them when we were there?
No, that was Black Adam.
That was okay, but
yeah, that was Black Adam.
I was about to say, even with Black Panther, we ordered our tickets and then we found out Corey was coming with us, so we had to buy another one.
Yep.
I was able to go to the theater and swap them all out and buy them in person and pick whatever seats we really wanted that were 5 next to each other. So even with Black Panther, which was supposed to be one of their bigger movies, and we all knew we weren't really going to like it, but it's been like this with movies that have been coming out. So, I mean, we're in Oklahoma, and I picture niggas in, like, California, New York. They got much better things to do on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night than go see a Marvel movie.
That's why I say you can say that it'll be a while before they're in trouble, but the numbers aren't lying.
Yep.
The numbers simply aren't lying, and I'm so glad we even jumped into that, because let's get into the trouble that Marvel is really in. Now let me refresh, because it might have changed. It's been changing all day. And it did. And it did. And it fucking did. So, before we jump into
That's funny as shit.
Let's jump in. Let's just go ahead and jump right into Marvel being in trouble. We're about 48 hours away before we will sit down and actually watch Quantumania, and we reviewed it last week from people from the last Monday. From people that got to see the world premiere. We talked about their initial reactions. Well, these aren't people that got to see the world. These are coming from critics now. Now, obviously, the critic score is
it's usually always a bit more
harsh. It's a bit more harsh than the audience score. So we'll have to wait to see what the audience has to say. But we're gonna read through some of these comments here that they are saying, because the review embargo, as you know, has dropped. They can say whatever they want. It's currently got 120 reviews, and it's currently sitting at a 54%. Now, when I woke up this fucking morning, I put this on my story, my Instagram story. I said, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. Or was that yesterday? Oh shit! That was today. When I put it on my Instagram story 7 hours ago, it was sitting at a 63%. Before that, when John and them were reviewing when they were reviewing this morning on there, it was at a 70-something percent.
That's what it was at when I woke up this morning for work at like 6 a.m. It was at a 70.
It is now 7:30 Central Standard Time, sitting at a 54%. It is the second lowest critically rated Marvel film since the 48% Eternals. That took me 16 times to watch before I said, oh, third act still is shit, but it's an okay film.
All right.
It's an okay film. So obviously, like I said, and I'll say this too, I can assure you, when Marvel dropped, they weren't expecting this.
Hell no.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little shocked.
That's just kind of scaring me.
Yeah. I'm a little shocked because just from the trailers, and I guess the argument could be made that just because this film is so comic booky that you have to maybe go in with comic book knowledge to maybe understand it. You know, maybe the average fan doesn't understand the quantum realm, doesn't understand how things work as far as time and just everything that Kang's going to talk about as far as time and everything, the way that things go. That argument could be made. I've seen people making that argument, that it's like too comic booky. I've seen people saying that. But I guess the argument could even be made, was Multiverse of Madness not comic booky? We talked about incursions. We went to one other universe besides the montage of the minute 20 seconds that we floated through other universes. We talked about, you know, I mean, the multiverse. I mean, I feel like that was a comic booky film too, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. But this one is definitely diving into variants, we got variants, incursions, a lot of different things. It was very comic booky. So, you know, monsters coming after America Chavez and all this kind of shit. So, you know, the argument could be made, I guess, that it is very comic booky or whatever. But this is let's read some of these reviews so we can see what some people are saying about the film. Let's see. All right. This is, well, let me put it on my screen so I can actually see it. 114 reviews. Well, sorry, it's not 114. I didn't refresh on my screen. All right. Grant Watson said, "This is a winning progression for Ant-Man and a wonderful, enjoyable blockbuster." Good review. Short review. Good review. Someone named Kate Sanchez said, "Buried deep, deep, deep down in a Quantumania is the heart of what a good Ant-Man movie could be, but it doesn't find it too often." All right. Derek Smith said, "Quantumania feels less the start of a new phase of Marvel films than a tired retread of adventures we've already been on." Christie said, "Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is chaotic, woefully unfunny, mess that has forgotten why its hero was such fun. The thrill isn't just gone, it's been buried beneath a swarm of plot controversies, and truly hideous CGI." Ooh, what did we hear about the CGI in Thor: Love and Thunder? Didn't we hear that shit had hideous CGI? Well, how we all watched it, it did have hideous CGI. Heimdall's kid's floating head, that'll never be forgotten. And we've all seen what MODOK looks like.
Oh, shit.
You know what? As a matter of fact, Marvel's not in trouble.
Pull it up.
All right, I'm going to keep reading these reviews. I want y'all to look at that while I read this. All right. Alan said, "Rudd and Majors try to lift up the superhero sequel, but it struggles with non-comedic storytelling and weirdly choppy editing." Then Luke said, "If it were a meal, it would have been magnificent." All right, a good review. Plating and the fanciest sauce, but cut into it and deep down, it's just a Big Mac. Oh shit, I thought it was a good one. It's just a Big Mac underneath. So let's read how he worded that again. "If it were a meal, it'd be magnificent. Plating and the fanciest sauce, but cut into it and deep down, it's just a Big Mac." He called Quantumania a Big Mac.
That's me. I'm trying to figure out if the nigga like Big Macs or hate them. I can't tell. He said it's great, then started hating on it. I don't know.
Peter said, "It features a slew of talented actors doing their very best to treat the extremely silly movie as though it were serious and actually meant something." Josh said, "Enough oogly landscapes and googly creatures to power 2 Star Wars pictures and half a Dune." Damn. Julian said, "Quantumania throws every can of paint in the garage at the screen while struggling with tone and convincing character dynamic. Jonathan Majors is an absolute beast as King the Conqueror. The MCU Phase 5 starts on uneven footing." Anthony says, "A very mid effort and Marvel better pulled their finger better pull their finger out if they want these films to start feeling like must-see events again. Now, that's what I meant when I said Marvel's in trouble. Because if this starts to be the consensus of everyone's thinking, no, just like with the Black Panther franchise, why are we not going to see BP3? Your mileage may vary, I'm not. Why am I not going to see BP3? The franchise, the main character's not in it. I don't care anymore.
No use.
Exactly. There's no use. I don't care. You have made it to where I cared, to where now I don't care. If people go see this and it puts them in that state of, I no longer care about what Marvel's doing, because there are even some people that are not seeing anything until Kang Dynasty, until the Avengers get brought back together. That means you're skipping the entirety of Phase 5, and you're skipping most of Phase 6 to watch Kang Dynasty.
And I have plenty of friends who aren't caught up on shit, who
haven't
a
lot
lot
of
of
people.
shit since maybe
Endgame.
WandaVision and Loki.
Yeah. And that's true. That's why I say Marvel's in trouble. They are in trouble.
Whereas to before Endgame, I was watching everything with after Endgame, whenever WandaVision came out, I was watching that with my friends and everything. Now, fatigue is definitely a thing.
It is. I'll read that one more time. A very mid-effort, and Marvel better pull their finger out if they want these films to start feeling like must-see events again. And one thing I'll add to that. The reason why he said must-see events again is because our theater seats are still empty, bro. That means people are either buying tickets at the door or just not going to see it. Laura said, while the film is laden with a new purpose and new world that marks this one, something like the extended Lang family visits Disney's Strange World. Okay, I could see that. By way of Star Wars, it's more entertaining than its predecessor. Dave said, a big dumb blockbuster that can't decide whether it's a crazy comedy or a gritty drama. A huge contrast between tone and narrative leaves this one feeling far too uneven. Tired of being continually introduced to the multiverse. Time to get on with it. Okay. Jonathan Majors should be referred to as the defibrillator because his intense performance gives the film desperately needed life. But the film is still unsatisfyingly emotionally thin and inconsequential. That's concerning. Inconsequential. The reason that's concerning because should this film not have all the fucking consequences? Should this film not should stakes not be high should you not be? I said this. I've said this. Go look back at the fucking live streams. I said if Quantumania doesn't have that ending Thor Ragnarok post-credit scene or Infinity War feeling, because it should, bro.
Have we gotten any reviews on the post-credit, or do you know what the post-credit scene?
Yeah,
I was gonna say I haven't.
The post-credits, everybody knows. Well, everybody over here should know. If you don't like spoilers, here's your 5-second warning. You can leave the chat and come back here quickly, but I'm about to go ahead and go through the post-credit spoilers. So here's your 5, here's your 4, 3, 2, 1. The first post-credit scene is the Council of Kangs. So we're going to see multiple Kangs, and they're going to be upset that the Kang in Quantum Realm gets killed.
I heard about that. I don't know about the second one.
The second one is going to show Victor Timely, who is also a variant of Kang, who has been rumored for a while for Loki Season 2, and it's going to have Mobius and Loki looking on stage while Victor Timely is showing off some inventions with Loki looking terrified.
Timely, though?
Yeah, they are doing Timely. Timely's actually happening.
Because I remember that's one thing we were talking about before, too.
We never knew.
If he was going to be one of the variants or not.
Yeah. So he's going to be one of the variants in Loki Season 2. I'll read a few more here. I'm not going to read them all. I mean, you guys can read them.
In the comments say you read all the reviews, but not comments.
Oh yeah, no, we're not.
Josiah said them. Just
no, we're not going to read all these reviews. Jimmy said, funny, heartfelt, and exciting. Here's a good one. And the villain is a worthy foe. Michelle Pfeiffer and Major shine. Most of the jokes work. With some falling flat, and perhaps there are a few minor visual effects that are less effective, but the weirdness made it work. And someone said, this is Pete that said, I have to confess, I am getting quite sick of the sorcerer style flashy and flary effects so many of these comic book movies revel in. Mix it up next time, guys. Oh, Pete.
Oh, Petey.
Tiana said, if weird's your thing, welcome to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And that's all she said. Rachel said, I'm reading one more after her. Rachel said, I prefer my Ant-Man movie smaller than whatever this is. And then David said, the story is in service of the larger Marvel engine, an incredibly creaky machine that nevertheless keeps grinding away, dropping superstar performers into CGI glop because the show simply must go on. So,
that's telling.
Like I said, your mileage may vary. You may be sitting there thinking,
telling, though. They vary.
It's telling. It's telling.
At least they're not all the same, though. I don't think the reviews were... If I were to just hear those reviews, I don't think I'd come up with like a 54 score for it. I don't think just listening to those reviews, because the reviews weren't that bad. The things that sound the worst is the fact that we may end up watching this movie and still move on nothing, with no further implications on the MCU, no consequences, no... Go ahead.
If Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a portent of the franchise's future, Marvel is in real trouble.
And that's one thing I read earlier, too. Just simply because the writer is writing Kang Dynasty.
I'm telling y'all, let me read this. Let's read this super chat really quick here from Josh. Josh said, "I've lived in California and New Jersey, and I've been able to get my ticket days before screening ever since start of Phase 4. Empty seats everywhere."
I mean, bunch of comments in, man. I just bought my ticket today for Thursday evening. Me and one other person so far in the theater room. Raymond, my theater's about to be half empty on a Thursday matinee. I've never seen that before.
I'm telling you.
Let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else? Theaters empty? Let me see. Anyone else? I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are going to start commenting that the theaters are empty, because I'm sure ours is not packed. But I want
to go ahead. Let me look at this again.
Nothing has been... Black Panther, in my opinion, wasn't
packed. It wasn't packed.
And nothing has
we
been
know
packed
why that
since
wasn't.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Nope.
Nothing has been packed since Spider-Man, and so it's kind of, in my opinion, if I go to Ant-Man and it looks worse, I mean, who's to say that they're not just trending down? Who's to say that normal fans can wait 2 to 3 years for Kang's Dynasty? Who's to say that just with how slow they started, that we can keep making these excuses and giving them time to get it right and stuff? Right. Especially, that's one of the most concerning things to me. It's like, when I hear those reviews, it's like you keep casting these star actors and the good actors and stuff, but you're making it seem like they might be giving us shitty performances. And so how long can you keep doing that before actors are kind of looking at your company like, do I want to go in and do this CGI fest and maybe not get to be myself or get to play a character how the character's supposed to be? You know, just so when the actors start questioning anything, that could be a bad thing. And it sounds like that could be the route that we're heading for if it's true that they keep casting all these good actors. Because, I mean, Christian Bale, wasted. I'm sure he's looking at that shit like, why did I do that shit?
Wasted. All he got was I'm sure a very decent
that's
paycheck.
Just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's people who are sitting there like, why did I even do that role?
Yeah.
It wasn't memorable, wasn't anything of how I envisioned it. So, I mean, that's the thing that sucks about it. It's like, I think this is real. We've had the channel for a year, and it's a steady conversation. Is the fatigue real? Is this shit getting old? So, I mean, if it's a steady conversation, we're able to talk about it. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this shit's getting old.
Hey, well, Stevie just said it's only like 15 seats in hers that are sold. And I just looked at ours. The same fucking seats are still available. We see every Marvel film, or any film we go see, we see it in IMAX. I think our IMAX holds, a little over 100-something people?
Yep. And this isn't like a Friday night where you might have. This is a Thursday night premiere that are usually fucking packed. You might have work the next morning, but you ain't going out to do nothing Thursday nights usually. Right. Premieres are usually packed on Thursday nights, especially we're going to the 9 o'clock one.
Yeah.
Especially the 9 o'clock
Especially the 9 o'clock
one. Usually
one.
fucking sold out. Bad.
And you know,
that's not good news.
What everybody's saying here, I agree with. Now, you might think what you want to think about what James Gunn's DC slate looks like. However, I'm still fairly confident in what they're trying to do over there. And everybody from Dougie Fresh to Xavier from Mano215 has said the same thing. DC is coming for that ass.
I mean,
they're looking. James Gunn even critiqued Marvel the other day and said, Marvel has some things figured out, but they don't have it all figured out. He said, I feel like we over here at DC have it figured out a little bit more. And I feel like he may be right. Why? Because he's gotten to sit under Marvel and seen their mistakes. And now he's thinking to himself, I'm not going to make those same mistakes. We're going to do things differently over here at DC. And if that's true, let's fast forward to 2025. I'm going to pull a John Campea here. When John Campea said before Batman vs. Superman, he said, if this fails, DC is dead. And he was not wrong because it failed. And what happened? They had to reboot their shit. I'm speaking it into existence now. If the Superman movie fails, no. If the Superman movie is a hit,
DC's vote Marvel.
Marvel likely will not be able to hold a candle. DMCU will not be able to hold a candle to the DCU. Because if that Superman film fucking hits, and I'm saying that with a grain of salt, because James Gunn is writing it and he is directing it. But if it hits, if Brave and the Bold fucking hits, if Waller hits, if all that shit hits, my heart will be able to go back to its first home. And that is DC. That is DC. So, I mean, I agree with them. I agree with them.
I do completely see.
And like Dougie, Dougie, bro, me and Dougie sometimes are on the same fucking brain wavelength, I swear.
The same thing. Like,
if the Flash hits, and we all saw the trailer, we know it's going to. My anticipation for this shit, where I didn't have it, I was like, holy shit. If the Flash does do good, that's just speaking more.
You know, one thing I had to think about, as an honest man, I was sitting there, I was like, I still listen to R. Kelly. I'm like, I think I'm gonna go enjoy this Ezra Miller film.
Miller.
I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna go enjoy this. I saw the trailer after the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl and everything. I was like, and that's just how I think and shit. I was just like, I'm gonna go enjoy this film. It's like nothing
for sure.
personal. It's like, if they're still putting this shit out, there's gotta be a reason for it. And so the film's got to be pretty fucking good.
That's what they say. That's what everybody says. For me personally, I still was not going to go see the film until it came to HBO Max. But when I saw Keaton's Batman do the CGI shit he was doing,
hell no, and I seen that.
I was like, take my fucking money. I get it. I get it, bro. Again, Miller, absolutely, positively, without question, cannot continue as the Flash. And I said what I said about that last night. Everybody has their opinions. I think that if this film whatever.
He's not stopping me. They are not stopping me from enjoying this film. No longer. I don't think I'm going to go into the Flash movie and sit in there and worry about what Ezra Miller has done anymore. If good or bad, I don't really care. But, it's just a simple fact that, if they've decided to go, and what I saw from the trailer, it seems like everything that they are envisioning is true about this film should be good. It should be fans should be able to ignore whatever's going on and stuff. I think the thing that just hinders in the back of my mind is I don't like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen.
Right, that's it. I don't like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. And again, Dougie and I are on the same brain wavelength. It guaranteed that I'm seeing it opening weekend.
I'll be there Thursday.
Yeah. That's why I said that last night when I was talking to everybody. I said, I think this kind of guaranteed that we will be seeing this film on Thursday. It won't be because at first we were just like, oh, we'll see it when we see it.
Yeah. That was a Morbius.
Yeah. But it's now turned into a thing where, bro, it's getting my money opening weekend. It's getting my money opening weekend. So if that's very true though. If DC can do that, then that's true. We're still talking on the topic though, so I want to quickly read what they said here. This is from the direct. While Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania looks to make a splash in the MCU's first Phase 5 movie, its Rotten Tomatoes score has caused some initial concern. Ant-Man 3 is set to become the MCU's 31st movie in the next step forward in the multiversal saga, pitting Team Ant-Man against the MCU's latest big bad, Kang the Conqueror. Even though this is an Ant-Man movie first and foremost, expectations are through the multiversal roof, particularly with it being an important stepping stone toward 2025's Avengers Kang Dynasty. Early reviews for Ant-Man 3 brought a wide range of reactions from critics, with some praising it as the best Ant-Man film, while others thought it was too jam-packed and didn't serve as much more than a filler movie. And again, that's kind of sad. And they said Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is currently listed on Rotten Tomatoes with a 63% at the time of writing this. Tomato meter score from 70 critics reviews, one of the lowest ratings in MCU history. Phase 4's Eternals from November 2021 opened with a 59% rating before becoming one of the lowest grossing films Marvel Studios has ever made. Reviews have been less than positive for Quantumania overall, with many feeling as though the movie was held back by its MCU ties and hollow emotional story. Inverse noted in its review that Quantumania feels more like a building block than an actual movie, describing it as 3 movies jostling for screen time, while being completely overshadowed by the overarching MCU narrative. And before I don't even think I'm going to, because these are just people's, this is what Inverse said. The problem with Quantumania is that it's not a movie, it's a building block. There are 3 movies jostling for time with Quantumania. Scott and Cassie's father-daughter story, Janet Van Dyne repressed guilt over Kang's origins, the Quantum Realm long fight to overthrow the tyrant Kang, but they're all overshadowed by the MCU of it all. The result is an undercooked, overstuffed action movie that feels like a shadow of better adventures send-ups before.
That makes sense, dude.
Yeah, but before, that's all I'm reading on that, because it's just more like Rolling Stone, what they had to say, what Playlist had to say. But this is the last part of what the direct had to say. How will fans react to Ant-Man 3? Even though not all of the reviews for Ant-Man 3 were on the negative end of the spectrum, seeing reception like this is certainly cause for concern as the MCU continues to evolve. These reviews mostly paint Ant-Man 3 as something of a filler movie that was only in place to introduce Kang, who is confirmed to play a huge role in later multiverse saga movies. Many have also said that this threequel is heavy use of CGI for the Quantum Realm material, even though this is something that was partially unavoidable according to the movie's VFX team. But even with that disappointment, the reportedly excellent performance by Paul Rudd and Jonathan Majors are what make this movie worth seeing, continuing the MCU's trend of excellent character portrayal. So to add to what Inverse had to say, I'm taking it to what what Matt had to say. Matt said, you have to look at, in his review, he said you have to look at Quantumania as a Part 1 film. And I saw someone say, I don't want to look at Quantumania as a Part 1. I want it to be its own thing. I don't want it to be something that's building to something bigger. Be great and big on your own. Let us know. Like the way that, obviously we knew that Infinity War was moving toward Endgame, but when I left the theater for Infinity War, I felt the stakes. I felt the consequence. I was like, shit. Like, what's gonna happen? Our heroes are been dusted. Thanos won. This motherfucker's sitting in some peaceful fucking garden somewhere on a different planet. What's gonna happen to our heroes? Seems like that's not a thought process leaving this film. It's more just a building block letting you know, okay, Kang's here. But we've known that since Loki.
Yeah, I think we need to be left on some terms of I don't know. Of like, I don't know why he just did that. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what Kang is all capable of. I don't know what he has planned now. We just need to be left in some terms of I don't know. Just because if we're left the movie, let's just say, I don't think this happens, but let's just say the movie ends on Kang kills Scott Lang. Boom. Mm-hmm. We know how dangerous he is. We know throughout the movie they showed us he's nothing to be messed with, but at the same time, we're not really wondering what's next. We're just sitting here. Oh, Ant-Man's dead. Boom. Like that's all we're really sitting. We're not left with anything on what's going into the. No wonder on. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's for the future. And so I think going into this movie, I mean, that's honestly how I want to look at it though. As a part, I want it to be great in its own, how they said, but I want it to be looked at as a part one of Kang's gonna come back and do this to something else, someone else's movie, something else, whether it's in Kang Dynasty, whether it's something else. But just in terms of how it ends, we don't need to know everything. We need to leave just feeling some type of way, some type of questioning, in my opinion.
I agree. And the last thing I'll show here on this topic is let's hear what President Kevin Feige had to say himself.
Welcome to Phase 5. Phase 5.
It begins tonight. That's true. Tonight is the beginning of Phase 5 for people who are tracking along with our phases, which I certainly hope everybody watching this is.
I want you to know that it's looking like Phase 5 is everything I really, really love about Marvel. It seems like we're getting weird, Kevin. It seems like we're going places that are very strange.
When you have a title called Quantumania, you want to make good on it. You know, what's great about this movie is I'm sure you've spoken to everybody already and they've told you, but it's amazing because it's, you know, sort of the completion of a trilogy with this amazing family with Scott Lang and Cassie, and it's funny and it's heartfelt and it's relatable, but at the same time, kicking off Phase 5 and introducing Kang and Jonathan Majors in a colossal way, and that's what I'm most excited for audiences to see tonight.
So tell us a little bit more about Jonathan Majors and what made him the right guy to be our Kang.
You know, he's great, and Peyton Reed was a huge advocate for Jonathan. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, we were casting that role for both Loki, He Who Remains, and Quantumania. And obviously he shot He Who Remains first and then this, but you can see already, if viewers who saw him in Loki, saw him in the trailer for Quantumania, he is such a versatile actor. He's getting a lot of great acclaim in numerous movies coming out around this time, and we've already... I almost gave you a big spoiler, but we've got lots of plans ahead for him in a great way.
Well, I do want to talk a little bit about that without heading into spoiler territory. Yes. You know, you've said that Phase 4 was very much about introductions. We met a lot of new characters.
Yes.
We've got a lot of new heroes. We've got America Chavez. We've got Shang-Chi. We've got so many people coming in.
Yeah.
But now this is about connecting everybody, right?
Absolutely, and after Endgame, we wanted the Infinity Saga to feel complete. It was, after Endgame and Far From Home. And Phase 4, as I've said, was all about experimentation, introduction, and reintroduction. And we took our time to have fun and play in genres we hadn't played in before and do all sorts of fun things with these new characters. Kicking off Phase 5, we'll continue that, and like the Infinity Saga, there'll be standalone films within the next two phases, but it really, as you will certainly see in Quantumania, is heading towards the very, very big picture, and as we've already announced, that big picture is the multiverse saga in a very big way.
So tell us a little bit more about the quantum realm, since that is kicking this off and is going to have such an impact on things.
Well, I love that this was an idea that Paul Rudd had many, many years ago on Ant-Man 1, was to explore this notion of this subatomic universe that played with quantum mechanics and where rules were different. That turned into what you saw at the end of Ant-Man,
right?
The first one. Clearly that was our tag on Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then was the way in which the world was saved thanks to Scott Lang in Endgame. And we also know that Janet Van Dyne spent a lot of time down there in the quantum realm.
Right.
And we see her get lost there in the first one. We see her rescued in the second one. And now in this one, we finally get to see what the heck was going on down there for 30 plus years. And that's what audiences will discover and how that ties in to everything going forward.
I don't know how you keep it all straight, man. I don't know how you keep it all in your head, but thank you so much for joining us, and we are excited to see how the quantum realm all plays out.
Thank you. I can't wait for you to see it.
Thanks again. Kevin Feige, everybody.
Have a great time tonight.
Bro without a hat on.
Oh, I saw him without a hat on once in a picture. Yeah, look up a picture. You know, one thing he said there was this is going to get us to the multiversal saga. So we're not in the multiversal saga? I mean, it doesn't feel like it, but I thought we were. I thought, you know, just at least by name we were.
This is the start of Phase 5. We're going to get into the multiverse.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
I don't know what he's meaning by that. Maybe that's what he meant, though. Like, this is what pushes us into it. It's just the start of Phase 5. I don't know.
I guess so. But, what Liam said, before we close this topic, what Liam said is funny. And I've read through the entire Entertainment Weekly article with Kevin Feige, but Liam said Kevin been doing damage control all day, and that's facts, bro. He's been doing it. Yeah.
Every time I see him at one of these fucking events, that nigga probably
damage control.
Be sweat. That's why I don't wear gray. Nigga be sweating. I know he be having pit stains, sweating bullets, because it's just he has to come in and do so much fucking work just to really save their own asses sometimes.
Right. He said he's been talking about Blade, the Marvels, basically most upcoming projects. Yeah, he talked. So in this article, if anybody wants to, I will go ahead and clip this article. Well, I'll put it in the chat for you guys, so you guys can go read it if you want to. But it's the Entertainment Weekly article. He talks about a lot. I'm gonna scroll down here so you guys can see what he said about. Before I do that, and then before I do all that, let me close it. So, this is the things that Kevin Feige has said about Quantumania. These are the things that critics have said about Quantumania. Now the question is, what do you say about Quantumania? Let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking about Quantumania. Do you think that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is going to hit? Are you like me? I have to see the film for myself, and I'll be able to form my own opinion. Are you concerned about some of the things the critics are saying, and not just about Quantumania? Are you concerned about some of those things because of the future of the MCU? So let us know down below in the comments. Obviously, the MCU is they're not about to stop it or anything like that, but it's still concerning. Let us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. I want to say